Imagine someone from a normal countryside village admired reincarnated heroes so much that being a bag carrier is the greatest pleasure to him. But one day, he learns the real face of these heroes when they raid his village, and a series of unexplainable and bizarre things take place, and while being the biggest die-hard follower of these heroes, he becomes the biggest threat to them now. The story begins with two individuals cheerfully talking to each other about the most recent battle of the reincarnates. We also get a glimpse of the new era where a few heroes are posing for a picture. They were able to swiftly defeat the demons in the past and continued their actions in the weeks that followed. Lute, with a glamorous smile, praised them, saying they surely deserved his respect, and Lydia pointed out that he could talk all day regarding these reincarnates. Aren't the reincarnates fighting against the demon lord's troops for our sake, so we can live in peace, harmony, and prosperity? Said Lute, while taking full pride in the heroes. With slight blushes, Lydia told him that she had heard enough from him. Both of them were in a forest where they were collecting herbs. Their cute little conversation went on, and Lute added that it was his dream to go to the royal capital and have a chance to fight alongside the reincarnates and defeat the demons. As he said this without understanding the consequences, Lydia told him that it was impossible, as the skills and powers of the reincarnates were above everything else in the world. They could slice through thick blocks of iron with no force or real effort, and the sheer scale of their magic power could level and drill through mountains. Lydia pointed out that Lute's ability and swordsmanship skills were all talk and exaggeration in the entire village. He quickly reverted and proposed that even if he couldn't be a hero or fighter alongside them, he would gladly take a spot being their bag boy and help them with various mundane tasks. And with a beautiful smile, Lydia told him that rather than a reincarnated person from somewhere far away she didn't know about, she preferred her only childhood friend to be right next to her. As she said this while slightly leaning on him, he blushed and started questioning the things she had just said. But interrupting him, she called out to him in a serious tone and asked, "Doesn't it seem like the forest is a little too red? And maybe there is a big fire?" As he asked about the situation as well, a strange dark figure sneaked behind him. And in the next second, it broke his neck completely, separating it from his spine. Lute himself had no idea what was going on, but as he dropped to the floor, fighting to remain conscious, he saw someone grabbing Lydia. After some time, he opened his eyes and questioned, "Was I sleeping, and wasn't I with Lydia?" As he realized that he couldn't seem to move his body, he looked right next to him and saw the most disturbing and painful sight he could imagine. Lydia was crouching there, dead, and someone behind her was pleasuring himself with her dead body, enjoying himself. Lute was stunned to see this, and told himself that there was no way that everything that was going on was real. And as Lute carefully looked at the face of the man pleasuring himself, he recalled that he was in fact a reincarnated hero, Lewis Crawford, the mistake of gods. Someone approached them, alerting him. There stood the undead King Don, Wodead and Looper, Honda. Lewis turned around and questioned Honda if he had done something he should not have, questioning his action. Honda just made a disgusted and tired expression, and told him to finish himself up and clean up the trash. And he replied, "I don't think I need to clean anything, they are already dead. I am going to finish in just a second." As Lute heard this, every single thing that he had dreamt of came crumbling down. He kept insisting to himself that this was all just a dream for sure and closed his eyes, wondering to himself what Lydia would think of this when he woke up and told her everything about this. On the other hand, we see the royal capital where Lute had dreamt of going to help the reincarnated heroes. There, Kurito thanked everyone for their presence and told them, "We are the best 9, the executives of the insurgents of gods. We meet the strongest and best among the best reincarnates. Looper, God's mistake, the fallen goddess, the daughter villainess, the young demon, the named slime, otherworld restaurant, and the undead king. All sitting in a medieval and fancy place, staring at each other and waiting for the command from their leader." As silence was all that was present inside the room, Flare, the fallen goddess, raised her hand and stood up, telling everyone that the demon tribe that held wisdom, the demonic people, humanity found the king of these demons a serious threat. They held great power and controlled the army. With a cheerful expression, she pointed to the sky and yelled, "As the insurgents of gods, it is our goal to take them down and bring peace to the world." Kirito praised the effort Flare had put into her words, and Louis's giggle interrupted everything. As she asked him what made it so funny for him, he added, "Just stop, you are making me laugh. Using our cheat skills to effortlessly become the strongest, and then kill all the small fry of this world without discrimination. Then, we can attain fame, money, and women. Isn't that the insurgents of God's purpose?" One of the people from the circle bluntly added with a serious tone, "Disgusting." And Pananta, the daughter of the villainess, told him that she knew the heinous thing he did at the village and added that she was sure that he was definitely not popular before his reincarnation. "I bet you became good-looking after your reincarnation. I just want to pray for your previous face," she yelled while laughing. Louis slammed hard on the table, alerting and silencing everyone there, and with a purely threatening voice asked if anyone had any problem with the things he did and enjoyed. As he said all this, his sword generated lightning. Surprising everyone, he ended his threat by saying, "Shall I silence you for the rest of eternity?" And the other heroes backed up as the sword he drew was not just a normal hero's sword but a god-killer sword that could slay anything. As the tension rose, Kirito shut everyone up and told him, "You lowly newcomer have some guts. I'll kill you, and bathe in your blood." While some of the heroes laughed at Louis, others remained silent and still. Louis, reflecting that he had no other choice but to go, waved his head and told everyone there that he was just messing around, and there was no need to take everything so seriously. As he said this, he started to leave, ignoring all the things that Flare spewed at him. He turned around and told everyone that he had some unfinished business. "Don't worry, guys, I won't be causing any trouble for you." As he left, Kirito pondered something to himself, and both Flare and Piñata mocked him. Outside the royal capital, Lute opened his eyes in a hurry and immediately sat up, shouting, "I knew this all was just a bloody dream." As he looked at his hand, he was caught off guard by a man lying upside down and bleeding heavily from the head. Lute was startled and asked what was going on, but as he looked around, he saw multiple dead people lying there, and a mysterious figure approached him from the back, greeting him. She wore a dark outfit and looked similar to a witch. He panicked and jumped back. She added, "Your will to live is quite impressive considering that you were able to revive from the state you were in," reminding him that his neck was torn off his spine. He yelled and asked her identity. She told him that she was indeed a witch, and also the person who had just saved his life. She added that at first she had just healed his wounds, but magic could not bring back the dead. As she said this, she slowly touched his face, and he shook her off, telling her to explain herself. She reminded him that the reincarnates came to his small village and, without an ounce of mercy, slaughtered everything in their sight and set it ablaze to cover it up. One of the heroes even forced himself on his childhood friend. Hearing this, he remembered that everything he saw was not a dream but a reality, and thinking of this, he vomited. The witch proposed that since he must hate them, he should murder each and every one of them, and ruin their reputation. He was confused and asked, "Kill?" As he wondered, the witch added, "Don't you hate them enough to kill them?" And he replied, "Of course I hate them, but it is impossible to kill a reincarnate," shutting her down. The witch asked him why that was. Their serious conversation continued, and they both questioned each other. However, the witch added that whatever they knew about those reincarnates was completely wrong, and their actions and events were mostly just overdramatic performances. These so-called patriotic heroes, the wall of this society and beam of hope, are nothing like that. As she said this, she glanced at Lute and told him that she knew their real identities before their reincarnation. One of them was a shut-in, a useless waste of space back in his time, who escaped his reality by playing video games. In a world without any power, he was the trash of society and good for nothing. Despite wanting to fall in love more than anyone else, he pathetically coped with his loneliness through the world of 2D, a world where your imagination always wins. Such a person is truly a piece of trash and a laughingstock. As he questioned the authenticity of these facts, the witch added that a piece of trash like him should have died in the gutter and crevices of society. But these trash were given the holy chance to experience a life full of glory and joy through reincarnation. Each of the heroes got a very special skill bestowed upon them, that is also called a cheat skill. This way, they were unparalleled and overwhelmingly strong, to the point that their power could turn the order of the world upside down, and those pieces of trash got these abilities without any effort and became heroes. They did nothing for this, and just out of sheer luck, they are the perfect example of an easy life. They don't even recognize the word struggle. She looked at Lute with a scary expression and told him that these reincarnates were just shit people, living off their cheat skills, hiding behind them, while destroying and treating everything just as they pleased. Now, Lute was just a normal person, and the fact that he had to understand their origin was difficult for him, and he told her just that. The witch added, if we manage to strip away their cheat abilities, they are nothing but hollow humans, nothing to be afraid of. Perhaps they are even lower than what we think. As her purpose intensified, she stared at Lute for a last time and told him, this must be what could excite you, break the wings of the heroes and cripple them. As she raised her hand and told him that she was going to teach him everything, his eyes widened. And we see a different setting. We see Lute walking and reflecting. Since he was a fanboy of the reincarnates, he knew the sheer scale of their power. Although rage and anger ran and boiled within him, he was very interested in her proposal. It seemed that their plan was to be at some place that resembled a brothel, and Lute just stood there. In a flashback, we get a glimpse of the rest of the conversation that happened between the witch and Lute. Despite everything, the witch's research on the heroes was spot on. She added that God's mistake, Lewis, was bound to be their first target. When it comes to his skills, there are two main ones. One of them is the 3 no's of magic: no incantation, no attribute, no support. This is a very overpowered skill, and the spell itself contradicts all the laws of magic in this world. His second skill is magic tool creation. Just as the name suggests, with a few words and spells from his mouth, he can enhance and enchant tools with various effects. The conclusion of this conversation was that Lute must know that these were the skills and abilities they boasted and relied on. With a dead serious expression, she told him that he had a 100% chance to beat the living crap out of him if he were to challenge him up front. As she said this with pure confidence, Lute did the opposite and broke her plan up. The witch continued and added that Lewis didn't know if he was still alive or not. Perhaps he doesn't even know you yet, and there is a chance that you can get his attention by telling him some lies that will send him to the past reflecting. Her main idea was that Lute must bring Lewis back to her, and he needed to use all the means and methods he could think of on the top of his head. As Lute heard this, he asked, "What will you be able to do once he is here? What will be our plan then?" And she reassured him, "The rest of the story is something that I will write, and remember that I am a witch. I will be using a ton of magic." Back to the present, Lute went into the brothel and was greeted by 2 tall girls who were bowing to him. He nervously added that it was his first time to a place like this. After a few seconds, the man from the brothel gently asked him to place any weapon that he was perhaps hiding and sneaking inside. As he denied possession, he reflected that he truly had nothing he could protect himself with, and now nothing could be done, and moving forward was the only way. As he went in, the only thing that he was pondering was how the hell that damned witch was going to kill the reincarnates. In the main hall of the brothel, a performance was going on, and dozens of attractive women were dancing with cheerful music all over the place. There, Lewis was sitting with 2 women, and it seemed that he was pushing himself on one of them, and the other was trying to leave him as he was trying to grope her breast. One of the girls gently told him that this was quite inappropriate, and this place was not for intercourse and stuff similar to that. As he laughed and apologized for his action, he stripped her breast, revealing it, and told her, "So what?" As she screamed in embarrassment, with a threatening and dead expression, he told them, "Who do you think can stop me? I can kill you all within 2 seconds of my time," scaring her and the other girl. And with literal drool overflowing from his mouth, he told them that if he understood their situation, they must make sure to blow him hard and good, or else the opposite was bound to happen. In fear for their lives, both of the girls stripped down and started to pleasure him with their mouths, and he laughed, praising his new life that he was enjoying to every extent. There Lute stood, watching this happen, and as he saw his once favored hero's true face, he let out a slight hint of bloodlust, which alerted Lewis. In a mere second, he rushed toward Lute, closing the few meters gap in less than half a second, and grabbing Lute by his throat. Lute reflected that he could not even react in time to alert himself, and surprisingly, Lewis remembered Lute's face and asked how he was still alive after his neck had been separated and detached from his spine. This sheer strength proved to Lute that his strength was beyond any normal human, and he had enhanced his power through magic. Even though Lewis was slightly surprised, he let out a fake smile and told Lute that they reincarnated didn't need new mysteries and unexpected situations popping up in their lives. This life is a gift for us, and we need to live in this unparalleled world stress-free, he said. While lifting him into the air, he asked again why he was still alive and reminded him that any wrong answer would result in him snapping his neck quicker than his brain could respond. As Lute was unable to answer because of the pressure on his throat, Lewis noticed that as well and relaxed his grip just enough so he could speak further. And Lute lost his temper and asked, "Why did you kill everyone in the village? None of them did anything to deserve that. We were living peacefully until you came," Lute shouted. And Lewis scoffed back at him without a single ounce of guilt or regard. Rather, he told Lute that he was angry over the fact that he had killed them all. The expression Lewis had no reflection. It seemed as if he had killed a few insects. As Lute realized that this guy was just a piece of trash, Lewis added, leaving the villagers aside, "Tell me, how are you still alive?" As Lute remained silent and was getting suffocated by the idea of dying in front of him, Lewis finished, "I will just kill you again and do it properly this time." As Lewis tightened his grip, everything inside Lute crumbled, and all his fear disappeared. In this situation, he was sure that the only person who needed to perish was this reincarnated piece of trash. With a weak voice, Lute stared at Lewis's soul and told him, "You'll regret it, you neat bastard." This filled the room with silence, and Lewis dropped Lute down. He asked if Lewis hadn't heard the thing he had just said. But behind his calm expression, Lewis was panicking, realizing that no one on this world knew this phrase. Lute added, "I know you before you were reincarnated." This sent shivers down his spine, and he reflected that even the best 9 didn't really know his real identity of being a neat and good-for-nothing in his previous life. Lute stood there with confidence and a slight smirk and told him, "If you would like to know how I know everything that badly, why don't you come over for some tea?" He told him. And in his mind, Lute was determined to kill him in the most painful way imaginable.